this is definitely the saddest episode of Gilmore Girls thus far, and I was not expecting it. But for now, let's get into the messy recap. So Chilton is having a formal and Rory doesn't know whether or not to go, or indeed whether she should ask Dean, but then she does ask him and he says yes, yay. Tristan asks Rory to the dance. Rory roasts him for doing so and Paris is high-key jealous. Lorelai makes Rory a beautiful dress with her magical sewing skills and ends up falling over and hurting her back in the process. She invites Emily over to take pics of Rory before the formal and Emily stays to play nurse. Tristan and Dean have a very unnecessary fight at the formal and Rory and Dean leave and break into Miss Patty's on their way home. They end up falling asleep for the entire night, leaving Emily and Lorelai freaking the out, concluding in everyone falling out with each other.
And that's what you missed on
Gilmore Girls. Okay, more housekeeping. Obviously, I'm one person with an opinion and I'm not going to be able to please everybody, nor am I trying to.
That's my opinion!
But I really just hope that people understand that I am being silly for the most part. My personal use of hyperbole over essentially fictional characters is what is keeping my spirits high at this moment in time. Anyway, let's get into the episode. So it's almost Christmas in Stars Hollow, and for some reason I just can't seem to cope with that fact. We were literally in fall a minute ago, but now it's Christmas. Great. And problematic Miss Patty is organising the Stars Hollow Nativity. The fact that they have a before and after Mary Mother of God is a choice. Lorelai is putting her sewing skills to the test once again, and I guess we're just rolling with this narrative now that she is a seamstress extraordinaire.
I couldn't help but wonder.
Who is running things over at the inn? Because she is barely there. She's too busy sewing. Anyway, she's helping Kirk with what I assume is a Joseph costume whilst looking wistfully over at Rory. So clearly there's still some tension there. I do love how they're continuing the storyline from the previous episodes. I am truly interested to see how they're going to come back from this one. So Rory is also helping out with the nativity and she's been tasked with looking for the baby Jesus, and she finds Jesus with an arm missing.
The arm is missing.
She tries to tell Taylor about this, but Taylor is adamant that they will be going ahead with armless Jesus as is tradition. He's so bossy. Eventually the Gilmore Girls leave and we see a very cute dog with the missing baby Jesus arm in its mouth. So, disrespectful Rory strikes again. Kel surprise. Rory and Lane had arranged to meet, but Rory was late because she's too busy thinking about her own problems. So Rory and Lorelai are still not speaking properly, and Lane is listening intently like the phenomenal friend that she is. She still has a glowing report. She's not done one thing to annoy me yet. There is time. Look, I'm genuinely hoping that the Gilmore Girls are going to patch things up soon because I very much value the Gilmore Girls' energy and chemistry. I will say that. So Rory has been Christmas shopping and she shares with Lane that she bought Dean a book, and Lane is less than impressed. She explains that buying a gift that you like for yourself does not mean that the person that you're gifting it to will like it. Lane coming in with the pearls of wisdom again.
I couldn't help but wonder.
Why does Rory not know that? She's supposed to be the smart one. Back at the inn and Lorelai's finally putting in a shift, but more importantly, we're back with Michelle. Our favourite sarcastic king. So he's putting the finishing touches on the Christmas tree. I say he's putting the finishing touches. What he's actually doing is directing or bossing some other poor guy to do the finishing touches for him. And he is not giving him a smidgen of help.
this one.
No. No. No.
Emily calls up the inn and it is very formal. She's calling to remind Lorelai about this Christmas soiree that's coming up this Friday. Oh, things are strained. Lorelai's like, I'm working, I can't actually make cocktail and hors d'oeuvre hour, sorry. And Emily's like, well, don't come at all then.
Well, damn it.
And it is harsh. I'm going to need these Gilmore Girls to get it together, or this is going to be a miserable time for all of us. So back at the Gilmore Girls' house, and Rory is trying to convince Lorelai to just come to the dinner anyway. And I must say, Rory looks great in that dress. So though her relationships are going down, her fashion sense is going up. Small wins. But Lorelai's like, I'm good. So it looks like she's staying in, and it is sad. Oh. So Emily Gilmore is giving us Mrs. Claus. Even though uninviting her daughter to Friday night dinner is giving
demonic,
the party is in full swing regardless. Richard is back from Prague and he's discussing business with one of the guests. Rory tries to apologise to Emily for what happened the other night, but Emily is being stubborn as all hell. Emily Gilmore, I want you to keep your rightful place at the top of the character analysis chart, but you are making it very difficult.
I was rooting for you. We
You are making it très difficile pour moi. If you keep this up, Dean may be on your heels.
The lies! There you go, this bitch. The lies.
So Lorelai is trying to order a delivery pizza in place of Friday night dinner. And to be fair, pizza sounds better than what I'm pretty sure Emily's cook is going to be serving up at the grandparents' house. Anyway, all the delivery vans are messed up. So she takes salad out of the fridge. This episode is all topsy-turvy. Up is down and down is up. Salad. Of course, Lorelai has to do something kooky. So instead of getting the salad and popping it on a plate and then pouring some Caesar dressing over the top, she just gets the packet, puts the Caesar dressing into the bag, shakes it up and eats out of the bag. Okay, girl. Anyway, someone is knocking on the window like the Gestapo, and it is none other than Dean. He ends up apologising to Lorelai for what happened the other night. And yeah, I've got to give it to him. It feels like a sincere apology. He even manages to take the bass out of his voice.
I don't hate you.
You're on your own there, sis. Kidding. Kinda. Anyway, Dean comes off as almost likeable.
Wow, what a moment.
I guess hell really did freeze over. What is this episode? So Lorelai pops out because she can't get a delivery pizza. And these bell ringers are making me feel all kinds of nostalgic. I was once a bell ringer when I did a production of Christmas Carol. The scene is kind of odd because I'm like, are we going to see these characters again? Because if not, why do I need to know about this? So Lorelai goes to the diner and... Guess who's back? Back again. Oh, my beloved Luke. Luke is taking his role of stepdaddy a little seriously.
Is she on a date?
No.
Good, so you forbid her to see the bag boy.
I'd really rather not talk about it right now.
Just tell me you forbid her to see the bag boy.
I did not forbid her to see the bag boy.
Are you crazy?
Well,
as it happens, Luke and I are on the same page and therefore destined to be together. Lorelai, on the other hand...
he is not trouble. He's 6'2", he's beautiful, and he's completely in love with my daughter.
Ma'am, step off. So Lorelai asked Luke if she could see the menu and Luke's like, girl, be so for real. You know you're having a burger. But then Lorelai starts confiding in Luke about the fact that she's been uninvited to the Christmas dinner at her parents'.
Why the hell would anybody celebrate Christmas 2 weeks early?
When I tell you that me and this man are kindred spirits, remember a few episodes ago when I was saying that I don't do Halloween? I did not mean Halloween was bad. I meant insert any holiday tradition. Call me the Grinch. I don't hate Christmas. I just find the build up to it insane. I can have a nice time on the day, but I'm not trying to hear about Christmas in November. Having said that, because I don't like Christmas, I have decided that I'm going to review Christmas movies, so that video should be coming soon. Anyway, back to my husband. I mean, Luke.
You liked going. Rory's there without you. You and Rory aren't getting along right now. I feel bad at being separated at a time you usually share together.
He just seems to get Lorelai. How she cannot see that this man is perfect for her, I do not know. Although, is she still seeing Max? Haven't heard from him for a while, which is perfect, actually. I wouldn't say Lorelai's missing out food-wise because that food really does look dead.
It's delicious, Emily.
Lies! There you go, this bitch.
The company's a bit dry, the food is a bit dry, the vibe is a bit dry. Richard is angry about some guy called Henry who's supposed to be negotiating a contract, and he's talking about this with one of the guests. And he can't seem to calm himself down. The other ladies at the table are talking about how much they miss Lorelai because she's always bringing the banter, bringing the lols, which is actually really nice. But Emily's like, yeah, she ain't coming, get over it. So back at the diner, and Luke makes Lorelai a burger in the shape of Santa. And even though it looks disgusting, what a sweet gesture. Just as she's about to tuck in, Lorelai's phone rings, but Luke doesn't allow mobile phones in the diner, so it goes to voicemail. She listens to the voicemail and it is not good news. Richard Gilmore has collapsed and he is in hospital. Lorelai is in complete shock and Luke rallies, offers to drive her to the hospital, is like, everybody out of the diner, closes up shop and takes her. And I'm not too big to admit, I cried. Yep. And I could not find a single thing to make a joke about. Damn you, Gilmore Girls. So on the way there, Lorelai is obviously freaking out, very understandably. And Luke is just like a calming force along the way. And Lorelai's talking about what a massive disappointment she must be to her father. And Luke says,
Can't imagine anyone seeing you as a disappointment.
So at the hospital, Emily Gilmore is also freaking out. And though this is an incredibly sad episode, I could not help but be gagged to see Sue Sylvester from Glee. I said, hey girl. I didn't expect it. Forgive me. Emily is absolutely not here for the hospital bureaucracy, and she is refusing to fill out any forms. So Luke and Lorelai arrive, and Lorelai is in full panic mode because she doesn't know which direction to go in. And then suddenly she hears,
it's right above the sign that says "Found her."
Mom! Dude! With me, fellas!
and when they get there, Emily's like, sorry, were you two on a date? Remember she clocked in an earlier episode that there was chemistry betwixt the two. This woman does not miss a trick. Nothing gets past this woman. So Rory turns up and sees Luke and Lorelai, and when I tell you, I started bawling.
I was just getting to know him. I know.
I don't want him to.
He's not.
It looks like for this moment, Rory and Lorelai are able to put away their grievances and obviously come together for what is a difficult time. And Rory is feeling desperate because she wants to be of use. And so Lorelai's like, okay, why don't you try and find us some hot drinks? And honestly, it's giving Mother of the Year because she's obviously finding it very difficult herself, but she holds it together for her daughter, and we love to see it. So we find out that Luke hates hospitals, and Lorelai says to him, you know, you can leave, you can go home. Like, I appreciate you taking me here, but it's all good.
Listen, why don't you go home?
You want me to go?
You don't look so good.
Thanks.
That's not what I meant. You know you always look good.
Ooh.
Yeah. I meant you always look healthy.
Okay.
He is in love. I'm prepared to put my feelings for Luke aside and just say, come on, you two, just get together already. This episode has me feeling generous. Richard Gilmore is wheeled past on a trolley, and though he looks a little bit groggy, he is alive. Lorelai is visibly uncomfortable about going to see her dad like that, and honestly relatable. I would even take Tristan, Dean or Max at this point.
Lies! There you go.
Richard is giving Emily directions to where she can find the will in the house. It's too much for Emily to cope with, and quite honestly, it's too much for me as well. Lorelai is at the coffee machine avoiding Richard, and Rory comes up, and they finally clear the air about the Dean and Rory sleepover debacle, and they make up.
It means things can happen, even when you don't really mean for them to happen.
They will not happen.
Okay.
Is this some sort of foreshadowing? Don't tell me. Luke and Emily have a little bonding session. Emily's holding Richard Gilmore's tie, and she says to him, I was the one at dinner who told him that he should not loosen it because I wanted him to look nice for guests. But then when he got to the hospital, the paramedics took it off him and she can't put it down. And so then Luke confesses that apart from turning his father's hardware shop into a diner, he hasn't been able to let go of any of the signs. And Emily asked the question I have been dying to know the answer to.
So what exactly is going on between the two of you?
And honestly, Emily's response is my response verbatim.
You're idiots. The both of you.
So the Gilmore Girls come back, and Luke encourages Lorelai to just go in there, see her father, just bite the bullet and just get it over with. So she does, and he's just waking up, but it is enough. Everyone comes back into the room, and Richard Gilmore is going to be okay.
I love it. I love it.
Upon hearing that news, Lorelai sneaks out, and Luke is standing there waiting with a cup of coffee that he stole from the nurse's office. This man. Luke then offers to take Rory home so that Lorelai can stay behind. And she ends up making up with Emily, kind of, by just basically making quips. And everything is restored and back in its rightful place. And I am so happy because this episode was a lot. Back in Stars Hollow, and Lorelai visits Luke at the diner with a Christmas gift. And it's basically a baseball cap to replace his other one. She then makes him turn off the lights in the diner so that they can look outside and watch the procession.
I couldn't help but wonder.
What's going to happen to Max?
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Because we don't need him anymore. And that's the end of the episode. Phew. That was a lot. I loved it, but I'm hoping we can get back to a time where I can take the piss out of the characters again. So Rory was still not the bestest to Lane, but she was more apologetic towards Lorelai, so up she goes. Lorelai was the epitome of what I imagine good parenting to look like. Firm but fair. Up she goes. Emily was way too harsh by uninviting Lorelai to dinner, but she had a tough time with Richard and was cute to Luke. Richard got sick and is getting better, so he needs to be up there. And Luke, an actual saint, kind, compassionate, considerate, and hot. What more is there to ask for? That's it. I'll be back next next week with more shenanigans. Okay, bye. If you like my Gilmore reviews, subscribe and I will do more for you. Subscribe.